While she gets her hair done, he goes about town running different errands she has tasked him with. But all the while he lives another life in his imagination, inhibiting such colorful characters as a dauntless hydroplane commander, a daft surgeon, an infamous crack shot, and a World War I captain. Turber's story has a long-lasting appeal as Mitty's imagination seems to represent a power that allows ordinary people to escape their lives of quiet desperation. As the story begins, the commander of a Navy hydroplane is flying through a perilous storm. The commander crew, including a certain Lieutenant Berg, clearly expressed their dismay and lack of hope, while their leader, whom they reverently call the Old Man, stand as a pillar of strength and urge them on through the maelstrom. Suddenly, the dialogue transitioned abruptly. Walter Mitty, alias Commander, has in fact been daydreaming while driving a car, and has let his speed rise just a bit too high for Mrs. Mitty, who berates him to slow down. As Mr. Mitty snaps out of his reveries and drops his wife off at the hairdresser's, she reminds him to buy overshoes, admonishing him of the necessity as a grown man to keep up proper appearances. In the same way, she also inquires as to whether he has his gloves on him, which he dutifully produces from a pocket. As he resumes his drive, he slips into a second daydream about being a famous British surgeon coming to operate on a wealthy banker called Wellington Macmillan. In the operating room, the surgeons greet each other and Dr. Mitty receives significant praise from his colleague for his past works. As the other surgeon said about work, a complicated machine crucial to the operation begins to malfunction. Dr. Mitty calmly calls for a fountain pen and deftly uses it to fix the machine. This fantasy is brought to an end by the voice of a parking lot attendant. In reality, Mitty has been
As
trying
I
to make
exit
his
the
way
store,
in a
my
parking
niece
lot and in
starts by
doing so
shouting the
has
latest
nearly
updates
crashed
on
into
an
another
infamous
car.
trial that has
Walter seeks
everyone's
out the
attention.
nearest
Like
shoe
that,
store and
Walter
buys
Mitty
those
is in a
overshoes.
courtroom
His
on the
wife reminds
witness stand. A furious sharpshooter standing up to the blustering cross-examination of the district attorney. The DA hands Mitty an automatic gun, which Mitty admits is his own. Examine it expertly and avowing his own expertise as a shooter. He goes into a store to buy puppy biscuit, which his wife has also asked him to buy, and then sit in the hotel lobby to wait for his wife to finish at the hairdresser's. There, he picks up a copy of Liberty magazine and reads the title of an article. Can Germany conquer the world through the air? This prompts fantasy of himself as British Captain Mitty in the midst of World War I on the front lines fighting the Germans. Speaking with the sergeant, who is rattled by the constant artillery sharing around them, Mitty fearlessly downs some brandy and volunteers to pilot a plane to bomb an enemy ammunition dump. He leaves the dugout and heads out into danger. As Captain Mitty set out from the dugout, we hear that something struck his shoulder. It isn't shrapnel from an enemy shell. It is Mr. Mitty, who has returned from her hero appointment. She asks him whether he has gotten the puppy biscuits and the overshoes. Seeing that he is carrying the ladder in the box, she berates him for not having put them on in the. I was thinking, does it ever occur to you that I'm sometimes thinking? He replies, for once, standing up to her, but this prompts a similarly uninterested response. from her. On their way back to the car, Mr. Mitty goes into a drugstore. Outside, Mitty lights up a cigarette. He leans up against the drugstore wall as it starts to rain. At this moment, he shifts his posture. Standing up straight, he imagines himself before a firing squad. He flicks away a cigarette and awaits his fate. The narrative finishes by describing him as Walter Mitty, the undefeated, inscrutable to the last.